on the final lap. Looking to make it 8 wins in the Xfinity Series at Bristol. Kyle Busch is going to win at Bristol.
Be down to the wire. Oh, they touch. He spun out. Carl gets into Keselowski. Carl Edwards will win.
Joey Logano brings it back to the start-finish line. He wins at Auto Club Speedway.
Leeches. Don't you just hate them? Stealing all these wins from lower-level drivers. Nothing like seeing a finish like this.
And Earnhardt is going to drive a number 3 car to victory lane at Daytona again. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins.
Well, that's some hypocrisy right there, isn't it? Right off the bat, I understand that Junior's win was a different situation and scenarios and all that, but I will say that most fans hate Leeches until it's their driver. Suddenly then, it's fine. There's an excuse for some reason. What I say to that is no, your driver is not different. Your circumstances of the driver don't change the fact that they are leeching. And definitely no, it's not impressive when a seasoned Cup veteran comes down to the lower series and bitch slaps a bunch of 20-year-olds or AARP recipients. So you may be asking, how the hell does this mean that the Leeches are needed? Well, it doesn't, but at the same time, both statements are not mutually exclusive. No, it isn't impressive or different when Cup Leeches dominate, but it also isn't necessarily bad when done in moderation. Cup drivers by default are bigger names and will bring in more fans to both tracks and TV screens. But more importantly, to the teams at least, these drivers bring sponsors. A Cup Leech like Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, or even Denny Hamlin have the ability to draw this sponsorship in and help fund an operation better than a teenager could. Another big reason that Leeches are needed is that it raises the level of competition up for up-and-coming drivers. It looks more impressive for a potential Cup team and sponsors if you beat Kyle Busch at Richmond rather than beating Justin Allgaier at Iowa. While fans may not like it, teams looking to hire do. Now, the biggest reason that the lower series, especially the Xfinity Series, needs Leeches is because NASCAR has marketed it that way. During the mid-2000s, between about 2006 and 2012, NASCAR used many of these more dividing Leeches like Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Carl Edwards as main selling points for the series. Instead of pushing these series as feeder series, they pushed it as Cup Lights. The big problem as well is at the time that NASCAR pushed this. This was what they sold these series as when NASCAR was the most popular it had ever been. For that reason, most people who know about the Xfinity and Truck Series in and out of NASCAR's fan base know them as Cup Lights. Now, I will say that I myself am not a fan of all these Leeches, but we are stuck in this predicament, and we have to deal with it. So what's the solution? Well, I think NASCAR has made it better with not having Cup guys in certain races. I think NASCAR should give Cup drivers a finite amount of races to be in the lower series. Younger drivers in their first few years can have more races in the lower series than older veterans. These limitations of Cup guys' amount of races would and has reduced the amount of anger towards Leeches over the last few years. On top of their popularity and not much winning in these lower series, why do fans not complain as much when guys like Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, or even Jamie McMurray leech? It's due to the fact that they always have a limited schedule. At most, these guys will be in 8 to 10 races a year, usually 1 to 3, and for guys like Jimmy Johnson, they can go years without leeching. I think that having drivers on a strict scheduled amount of races instead of full schedules is the best way to solve this leech problem. Leeches can still race, but not to the point where it annoys everyone, but also to the point that it still helps these lower series and teams. But what do you think? Are there benefits to having Leeches in some races, or should they just be outright banned? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're at it, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, have a good one.